So if you're using Anthropic's coding assistant, Claude Code, you already know it's a pretty powerful AI sidekick. But what if you could take that one sidekick and, I don't know, upgrade it into an entire autonomous development team? Well, that's the big promise of Claude Flow, and today we're going to break down exactly how it's supposed to work.
And you really have to ask yourself this question. Look, a single AI agent is awesome for knocking out specific tasks. But when you're building massive enterprise-level software, that one lone assistant can turn into a huge bottleneck real fast. The scale is it's too much for one agent.
All right, here's the game plan for today. First, we'll talk about why one AI just isn't enough anymore. Then we'll dive into this Hive-Mind concept and see how it works, comparing its two different modes. After that, we'll get into the performance numbers, get a much-needed reality check from the developer community, and finally, we'll look at what all this means for the future of, well, your keyboard. Okay, so let's get into the weeds here. You've got this fantastic tool, Claude Code. It's right there in your terminal. It gets your code base. It handles all those routine things. But here's the catch. The second a project gets really big, relying on just one agent to do everything can lead to some serious slowdowns, maybe even hallucinations.
And that is the exact problem tools like Claude Flow are built to solve. When one agent just can't keep up with the workload, you need a system to manage a whole team of them working together. And this key concept has a name: AI orchestration.
So how does Claude Flow actually fix this bottleneck problem? This is where things get really interesting. It essentially transforms Claude Code from a solo act into a multi-agent autonomous development system. So what is AI orchestration? Honestly, the best analogy is a conductor leading an orchestra. The conductor isn't trying to play the violin and the cello and the trumpet, right? No way. Their job is to coordinate all the specialists to create one beautiful, complex piece of music. In the exact same way, Claude Flow coordinates AI agents. And to make this idea really stick, the creators use this awesome analogy, the hive mind. You have a central queen agent that acts as the master coordinator, the project manager, if you will. It takes your high-level goals, breaks them down into smaller tasks, and then delegates them to a whole team of specialized worker agents. And that specialization is the secret sauce. Instead of one generalist AI trying to do everything, you get a dedicated team. You've got an architect agent designing the system, a coder agent writing the code, a tester agent that comes in to validate it, and even a security agent checking for vulnerabilities. Each agent has its own specific job, and the queen coordinates the whole show. Okay, so you've got this awesome team of agents. How do you actually put them to work? Well, Claude Flow gives you two main ways to operate, and choosing the right one for your project is crucial. The choice between Swarm and Hive-Mind mode really just boils down to your project's complexity. Swarm is for those quick fire-and-forget tasks, like build me a simple REST API. It's instant. But for the really complex projects, the ones that need you to pause, think, and come back to them, Hive-Mind is definitely the way to go. It gives you persistent sessions, project-wide memory, and way more control over your team of agents. An autonomous team of AIs sounds fantastic on paper, but does it actually perform better? Let's take a look at the numbers that the project is claiming. The big headline number you're going to see is this: 84.8%. So what is that? That's its solve rate on the SWE bench, which is a standard, pretty tough industry benchmark that tests AI on real-world software engineering tasks. And yeah, that score is significantly higher than a lot of other tools out there. Beyond just accuracy, one of the biggest promises here is speed. By having multiple agents work in parallel, one is coding while another is researching and a third is testing, the framework claims it can deliver a massive 2.8 to 4.4 times speed improvement over a traditional single-agent workflow. But the benefits aren't just about speed. The efficient way it breaks down tasks apparently cuts your token costs by over 30%, which is huge. It also has persistent memory for context, a massive toolkit with 87 advanced tools, and even self-healing systems that try to fix things when they go wrong. Now, we gotta remember, Claude Flow is an alpha stage project, and it has generated a ton of buzz. But to get the full picture, it's absolutely essential to look at what the developer community is actually saying about it. And it's not all sunshine and roses. On one end of the spectrum, you have some heavy skepticism. This comment from a Reddit user, Zeruk, just flat out dismisses the project as vibe-coded slop, feeling that it's just a lot of buzzwords without real substance. Others, like user quantum_splicer, are asking some tough questions about those bold performance claims. A 20x increase is a massive leap, and the community is rightly asking for clear, reproducible evidence to back it up. It's a totally fair point. And then you have the practical, real-world struggles. This user, email I just made, is warning other Mac users about significant installation problems, pointing to Node.js issues that stop them from even getting started. This, of course, is a super common challenge for any alpha software. Now, the official installation process looks pretty straightforward on paper. Make sure you have the right version of Node.js, install Claude Code, install Claude Flow, and initialize. But as we just heard from the community, the reality of getting an alpha tool up and running can sometimes be a whole different story.
Okay, putting aside the hype and the early stage issues for a minute, let's zoom out. What does the emergence of tools like Claude Flow signal for the future of software development? What's the bigger picture here?
The paradigm really seems to be shifting. The role of the human developer might evolve from being the person who writes every single line of code to being the architect, the prompter, the high-level strategist, basically the conductor of an AI orchestra. You define the what, and the AI team figures out the how.
And that leaves us with a final really big question to think about. As these coordinated AI systems become more capable and more reliable, as they move from being alpha projects to production-ready tools, what skills are going to matter most for us? Is it systems thinking? Is it getting incredible at prompt engineering? Or is it something else entirely? The future of your keyboard might start to look very different very soon.